dope ass dude podcast. Transparent conversation. Real life stories. Hustling, grind, transparent conversation. Real life stories. Hustling, grind.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy, the dope ass dude, and I am so excited to be back for the first episode of the season. And I'm really excited about the guest on tonight because this guy, he brings a lot of value and knowledge, and I am sure you're going to leave inspired. So you guys already know the preliminary things. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, if you don't mind going ahead, subscribing to the YouTube channel. And while you're there, click on like, and then also click on share, but definitely click on like so that it can be shared with others just like you. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. If you're unable to catch it on Monday nights, you can always catch it on the go. It is on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Again, that's Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And you can always watch the podcast live on Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. Again, that's Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube each Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then my preliminary social media information, you can follow me on both Instagram and TikTok. I can be found at the Dope Ass Dude Podcast on both of those platforms. Again, on Instagram and TikTok, the Dope Ass Dude Podcast. And lastly, let's go ahead and get Chris's information out of the way. He can be found on Facebook at Christopher Anthony. And then if you want to go out and follow him on TikTok and Instagram, you can follow him at Chris D. Anthony. Again, that's Chris D. Anthony. So let me give that to you one more time. On Facebook, you can follow him at Christopher Anthony. And then on TikTok and Instagram, you can follow him on both Chris D. Anthony. So guys, I am really excited to be back with you all on tonight. It has been a long time, like 2 months since we were together, and I am like really excited about being back, especially with the new season. And since we've been gone, a lot of stuff happened in my life, and I am really excited to share those things with you all as we continue throughout this season. But I am definitely like really excited because this season, the focus of it is going to be building where you are, just taking your life, seeing all the good that you have and the things that may not have worked out for you so far in life, how to turn those things good and build a better future for yourself. Because I'm all about living the best days of the rest of your life. So my guest, Christopher Anthony, he is a identity coach. He's a identity coach and identity first coach. Identity first coach. And this guy is really about changing lives and transforming people and giving people tools and showing them steps on how to become the best version of themselves. And I think with social media and everything that we have going on, so many of us, we have gotten lost in the facades of who we are. Sometimes we don't even know who we are because we portray this image on social media that we go so far to portray this identity that we don't even know who we are anymore. So I'm gonna bring Chris on now so he can talk a little bit about himself. Christopher, what's going on, man?
You already got me. I'm cooking over here, man. What's going on?
What's going on, brother? I'm excited about having you on here, man.
Yeah, pump, man. Thank you for the opportunity to be the first episode 1.
Yeah, so you setting the standards, man. Everybody else gonna have to like measure up to you,
The
dude.
standard will be set, brother. I got you. I got you.
I
I
love it.
got you. I got
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Christopher.
So, man, as you were talking, it literally made me think like the question, who are you? And I always like to start with I am. And I say I am because a lot of times we get so wrapped up in roles and titles that we forget the initial I am. Because you can be anything that you choose to be, but it starts with that I am. So the roles and titles that I give myself are coach, whether it be identity and execution, speaker, father, son, brother, a lot of different things.
Yeah, so how did you get involved with becoming a life coach? How did this become something that you're like, because you're extremely passionate about it. You can tell that by the content that you post on your social media. How did you get so involved and passionate about it?
Man, it was something that I ran away from, to be honest with you. And over time, I started realizing find something that not only you need, but the deeper you go, you'll start to realize that you're not the only one. And so that's essentially where clarity currency came from. I spent years rebuilding my life without understanding why I kept losing myself in the process. Whether it be college football ending and me asking the question, okay, who am I now? Or business ending. Uh, had the opportunity to build a business with a group of people for 10 plus years and that ending, and then trying to figure out again, who am I now? And, marriage ending and who am I now? So continuing to go through that process, and every time it felt like I was just starting over. So what brought me to it was needing it more than anything else. But as I started diving deeper into it, I realized that I wasn't the only one, and I could actually help people in the process.
So let me ask you this question here, because I think this is something that a lot of us struggle with. How did you identify that you were lost?
Man, okay, you want to go that deep?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's
Okay.
unpack, man.
How did I identify that I was lost? By under by I'll say misalignment, and then from there I'll go. You ever been at a party and you at this party and maybe you the dancer, right? So you at the party, nobody's dancing except for you, and you kind of looking around and you like, I'm not supposed to be here. Or maybe you the guy in the corner that doesn't like to dance. You dancing in your head all day long, but everybody else is dancing, and you the only one sitting down or in the corner. You like, I'm not supposed to be here, et cetera, right? So
Yeah.
as I continue to go to different places, whether it be inside the house or even out or outside the house or even inside the house, where I just be watching TV all day, I started to realize I'm not supposed to be here. And so that's when I realized that that piece for me.
Okay. And I like how you said I'm not supposed to be here, because the funny thing is we live in a world now where people wouldn't have gotten the thing. They would have said they wouldn't have gotten I'm not supposed to be here. They would try to fit in or to express themselves or feel like they have to step up to fit in. Some people would have
It's true.
never identified that, hey, I'm not here. I'm not a fit for this here. So I think that's really remarkable, man, that you were able to identify that. Now, was that a long process to find that, or is that something you just instantly knew?
I personally feel all of us have that. I love stories, man. So, so for the guys or the girls, so that moment when you walk up to the first date or whatever it may be, and they immediately say something that you're like, yeah, you're not the one, but you still choose to move forward anyway. We all have that inclination that this isn't right, but it's our choice whether we want to actually continue to move forward or not. And so that's how it was for me personally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know, like I think like for me, I mean, it took me a long path for me to, and you know, every day I'm still trying to figure out, you know, because I think the thing is we are constantly evolving. We're
Exactly.
constantly evolving. And I love how you said you always ask yourself, who am I now? Like when sports ended for you, you were like, who am I now?
Mhm.
When your marriage ended, who am I now? Most times we feel like we arrive in a place, but no, life is a continuous
Continue.
journey. It's a continuous journey, and hopefully you continuously evolve as well. And like I said, for me, when I first came into my true identity, or what I like to describe, the most memorable moment of me just saying like who are you? I was 38. It
Okay.
took me that long to figure that out because for so many years prior to that, I was wearing all of these different hats and I identified with the jobs I was doing,
Mhm.
whether it's in church or music or my corporate job. I've always before I always identified with those things. So I never really like was like John the person. It was always John the songwriter or John the musician. And it took me a while to just be able to get to that point that I was like, well, who are you without any of that?
Yep.
Like, who are you when you at home by yourself and you have none of that stuff? And I think so many people never get there.
Yeah, and I hear, man, I hear it all the time. My mom says it all the time, or just individuals that are older than me. Just live a couple more years. And when you graduate, or even 16, 15 years old, and you smelling yourself, and you're like, man, I got this figured out. And you think you're mature, and then you get to that 25, and you're like, okay, I had nothing figured out, but now I got it figured out. And then you go to 35, and it's like, yeah, I had nothing figured out. So I feel like it's just a continual, I have nothing figured out, but then you start to figure it out more, and you start to care less about, let me, you start to care less and understand who you are as an individual.
Yeah. So let me ask you this here, Christopher. Have you ever like, well, let me ask you this question. If you could go back in time and change something about your life, would you do it? And if you would, what would you change?
No, I wouldn't change anything. And I say that because I know the purpose of my life. And the purpose of my life is to be able to empower other young men and young women to skip over those cracks that I fell over. And if I would go back and change those, then I would have to eventually go through those later on in life. I feel personally, so I wouldn't change it. There's a old mentor of mine, um, last name Snipes. He wasn't a personal mentor, but he made a comment. He said, You're either going to fail now or you're going to fail later. The question that you want to ask yourself is, how fast do you want to fail? And is it a now thing that you want to fail fast now to learn faster so that you don't have to fail as much later? Or do you want to wait and fail anyway, thinking that you found these shortcuts and still fail in the end?
Yeah. And I'm similar to you. I'm similar to you, like, because someone posed that question to me, and my answer was I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't
Mm,
change anything, and the reason I wouldn't change anything is I am afraid because I love my life today,
yeah.
the way it is today. I am so afraid if I change one thing, it alters what I love
Yep.
today. So I'm with you. I wouldn't change anything. I'm appreciative. I found the good in everything that has happened in the past. And like I said, I love my life so much today that if I change one thing, it would alter things. But I think that's the thing with people. Like people always want to go back and change who
Mm.
they were, thinking it's going to make who they are better. Do you think that's possible?
I don't personally. I My belief is, God, the universe, however people want to say it. I'm Catholic personally, so my belief is that God puts us through tests, and it's up to us to pass those tests. And if we don't pass them when it's first given to us, we're still going to have to go through the exact same thing. But most of the time when I talk to, excuse me, when I talk to individuals or even just myself, when I think about the things that I still struggle with, that's a challenge for me, like whether it be relationships or even a certain amount of income, until you've defeated that beast, even if you do choose to, or even if you do gain access to the higher level, you're going to get knocked back down because you haven't passed the test yet. And so it's just a constant ongoing thing until you do. And because of that, it goes back to that: either you fail now or you continue to fail and still have to fail later.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about identity first, coach. Exactly what is that? Because I know that was my first time hearing it. So maybe some others. So what is an identity first, coach?
So identity first is helping. I'll say it this way. So ambitious people who feel like they haven't yet reached their full potential. The person that, maybe you grew up and you've been successful in different areas, but you still have that feeling of, I know there's more to it. I still have a lot a lot of juice left on the table. How can I get that extra oomph out of myself? Because it's more than just motivation. A lot of times we think, oh, I need to get motivated. Yeah, that's temporary. But how do you actually make sure that it stays consistent? That's where the identity comes from, because that's the first layer. And from that identity comes the clarity, and then that clarity starts producing that follow through, and then it's consistent.
Okay. So let's talk through your process in helping people find their true identity. So what is your normal process for that? Like what steps do you normally follow to get people to the desired goal?
So first, depends on. So I'll break it down into three. So cut the noise. So first thing, more than anything else, cut the noise out. What does that mean? That means truly looking at yourself and figuring out, who am I? Not only who am I when it comes to, the goals and things I want to accomplish, but before that, what are my morals? What are my values? What are the things that I say, this is who I am? So cut all the other noise out. And then once you do that, now you layer the foundation, and then you start to build on that who I am. And then as you go there, now we start to focus on the consistency, because consistency itself, they say it takes, it's kind of up and down. Some people say 90 days to create a habit, 90 days to break a habit. But the way I've done it with my clients is it's about 90 to 120 days to break yourself and remake yourself into the person that you fully want to become.
Okay. So so a lot of us we think we already know ourselves, right? So how do we break ourselves to make ourselves? Like how do we break all of these illusions that we've had for years of who we are to like get to who we really are?
So I'll easily ask some questions. So I always like to let people know ahead of time. I like to have fun. I'm goofy, but I will also challenge you. So the person, I think it's better for me to say the person that I'm not looking for is the person that's looking for shortcuts, because it's if you're willing to take the shortcut, then you're not willing to fully embrace the things that your ego will tell you that you have accomplished. And so that's what I want to break first, not in a bad way, but in a way of letting you know, hey, okay, this is where I am now. Let's actually move forward, because if you had what you wanted, then you wouldn't come to me. But there's something that you're leaving on the table. So if that is the case, that means that there is something that needs to be broken within so that you can actually sprout.
Okay, so what are some of the shortcuts that people try to take?
Shortcuts. So I'll tell you some of the shortcuts I took.
Okay.
And I'll be even more transparent to say sometimes I still take them. My shout out to entrepreneur speaker Marcus Walrosia and Coach Krisha. They challenged the fool out of me on a consistent basis, and some of the shortcuts. The shortcut of, oh man, I already know this. Like I don't need to hear that again. I already know this. Like I already know who I am. Okay, well, if I ask you who are you and you can't actually articulate who you are, then you probably don't know who you are. If I ask you what are your top three core values and you kind of think, you probably don't know your top three core values. Okay, where do you actually live those out? How do you live those out? If you can't explain those things, then that's where we have the challenge. Because, excuse me, because if that is the case, if you're already faulty here, that means you're faulty out there, and the world won't give you the leeway that I'll give you.
Okay. So, I mean, okay, so yeah, most people will say that they already know that. They will say they know that. So, have you found it challenging for people to get to who they are, for them to really be honest with themselves?
Not for the people who are already going down that self awareness route. They're already reading. They're already you know watching the different types of YouTube videos or whatever it may be. They just don't have a specific place that'll actually guide them step by step to fully fulfill what they're looking into. But for those that are truly wanting, and everybody has ego, right? Everybody has pride, so it's not gonna be a back and forth like I'm not gonna call you stupid or anything like that. It's uh it's an understanding through questions that I'll ask a question and then I'll just pause. And then once you finally realize, oh, okay, then there's no. I tell my clients, I tell the young guys that I mentor all the time, I don't care about being right. I just want you to understand. That's the whole purpose. As long as we can move forward, that's all that matters. You don't have to tell, oh, Coach Chris, you're right. We're good. I don't care about all that. I don't care about being right. I just want to make sure that you understand where you are through the questions that I ask so that you can truly move yourself forward. And that's
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you this question. I'm asking you this here because we live in such a quick fix, superficial world these
uh,
days. It's so quick because now, because I look at it, and back in the day, I mean, not back in the day, but a couple of years ago, women were the only ones wearing body shapers. And the reason I say this is because I saw one of your TikToks, you getting your run on and everything. And so you working on the physical. But now men wear body shapers. So we live in this environment and this culture where no one puts into work anymore for
Mm.
anything. We can just throw on a quick fix to give us what we want, and then we become so oblivious to the fact that I mean, like I said, we don't want to put in the work anymore. People don't want to put in the work. And I'm not just talking about the physical, but the physical is just a visualization of what people are thinking on the inside. A lot of people are thinking on the inside. No one wants to put in the work to get to the real them. So, how do people who have fallen into this superficial world, do you think a lot of people are just walking around lost and don't know who they are? I guess maybe that's what I'm trying to ask.
Do I think a lot of people are lost and don't really know who they are? My belief tells me a lot of people are lost. My belief, and when you watch social media, things like that, uh, know who they are. We all know who we really are. We just need someone to truly bring it out of us. Uh, I I go back to my coaching cousin Marcus Y. Rozier. He says things without saying things, and he challenges me beyond what anyone else has challenged me before. And because of that, without yelling, without anything like that, it's just simple questions or statements that he may make, or even describing his schedule, for an example. I'm an ambitious person. I like to call myself a high achiever. And when he describes his schedule, that in itself already challenges me. So being lost, I do believe a lot of us are lost, but not knowing who we are. I think we find who we are once we find the person that can bring it out of us.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so let's go back to something you said in the very beginning when you came out. You said and I've heard this before, the I am factor.
Mhm.
Because you say you always start out I am, and you follow it up with something, because it's this thing called the I am factor, and it's pretty much saying that anything that follows I am, as soon as you said, the universe releases it and it's on its way to you. How have you found that whole I am thing beneficial in your life?
Beneficial because so when I was growing up, I was 8 years old, and I remember telling my mom I was speaking in front of thousands. I was 8. I didn't, right? It was just something, and it came out of nowhere. And I didn't think anything about it, but I continued to speak it, and I didn't speak it out loud. It was just a belief that I had in myself, and so I continued to say, "I'm a speaker. I'm a speaker. I'm a speaker," and eventually it came to fruition. I didn't. It got to the point to where I said it so much to myself that I forgot that I was saying it, but it was ingrained in me as one of my roles. So I would naturally, when a teacher or a professor, or when I got into the corporate world came up, I would naturally go up and speak. And so that automatically made me a speaker. And then it got to the point to where I was speaking in front of, you know, 10,000, 20,000, 25,000, and just be in that area. Same thing with football. As I continue to move up in football, that you have to have that that it about you, that it factor about you. And I just kept saying, I'm it, I'm him, period, nothing else to it. So because of that, even when I had my downfalls, football always still managed to come around and find me, no matter whether I thought I believed on on the exterior or not, my identity still said no. You're a football player. You're a football player. You're a football player. And so it always would come back. And whether I would meet an Adrian Peterson or whoever it may be, different people in random places, it always helped me realize, no, this is who you are as a role. Now is what I understand it. So it helped me in that way, and it also hurt me, of course, right?
How did it hurt you?
It hurt me because I, growing up, you're like, man, I suck. Man, I that. And, the more you start saying those things, you start to believe them. That unconscious competence going to conscious competence and really understanding what you say is value, but that value is dependent upon you. So literally having those thoughts of, man, I'm not good enough, and feeling that way, and then the manifestation of it starting to come out and showing, yeah, you're right. I always say, God is a yeah, you're right, God. Yeah, anytime you say, man, I'm done, yeah, you're right. It's like God is saying, I don't believe it, but yeah, you're right, because that's what you're saying. It's your choice, and whether it's good or bad, he's just, yeah, you're right.
So let me ask you this here, because this is, I mean, you kind of touched on it just now a little bit. When we are kids, our mind is so beautiful because there are no limitations. We see the bigness of God. We see how big God is, and we can ask, like you said, oh, I'm going to speak in front of 1,000 people. It was nothing for you to say there because you just see the world as this open blank canvas. So as you've gotten older, you just also said the voices creep in that causes you to doubt that.
Hmm.
How do you counter those voices and continue to think limitless?
Oh man, the gates, controlling your gates, your ear gate, your eye gate, your mouth gate, controlling all those gates. Whether it be, I had a a female friend of mine. I was talking to her the other day, and she asked me what I was watching, and I told her it was some type of thriller show. And she said, I don't watch thriller. It's too negative, and it just brings me bad energy. And I and it never clicked for me before, because I'm always, I make sure I read the right things. I make sure I'm listening as much as I can to the right things. uh Sometimes I like a little young dark, but but listening to the right things, reading the right things. And I never thought about it on a TV standpoint. And so literally when she said that, I switched everything TV wise. And from then on, all I've watched since then has been, whether it be, spiritual or science. I love watching science and interviews, documentaries, or I'll watch comedy if I'm watching a movie or something like that, so I can keep my spirit up. And I kid you not, it changed way more than what I thought it would, just by changing the eye gate alone. So your environment is everything, and it's not just people. It's everything that you do, what you listen to, who you talk to, who you're around, the five people that you're around. Right? We hear that all the time. What you're listening to, uh, just all those gates, man. So you control it by controlling you.
Yeah. So one thing I found when I was, on my journey and everything is, like, and you was talking about the five, your circle five. I had a group of friends that I hung out with all the time as well, and those people I still love them to death. I mean, we don't hang out anymore, but I do love them, and I value the time that we had together. But I learned that, you know, a lot of times people think when you are transforming your mind and you're transforming your life, you have to cut people off. and I learned that you don't have to cut them off. They're gonna stop inviting you.
Exactly.
They will stop inviting you
Yep.
because they will identify the change in you, and you become less appealing to them
Yep.
because your conversation changed. So you don't have to cut people off. Did you
Mhm.
find that to be true for you as well?
It's so true. I have a immediately when you said it, I have a friend who he enjoys drinking, and teach his own. I don't judge by any means. Everybody has their vice, but when he goes out, he getting drunk. Period. Point blank. Case closed. And I told him, I said, man, no, I've never drank like that. But when I'm with you, I might get one drink, and to be honest, I don't even drink it. I just grab it. And once I told him that, and he started seeing it, he started inviting me less and less because misery likes company, but people who also have certain vices like there's certain company that also have those vices.
Yeah. Yeah. And in those moments too, when you find yourself, because it's easy again to try and fit in
Yeah,
and continue to hold on to people, and you'll find yourself stagnant because you're still trying to do some of the same things that you did with them to keep them interested in you. And
so
it's
true.
not it's not because I don't want when people have to make those type of changes, it's not a negative thing. It just means that you've evolved and maybe they have evolved as well too. It doesn't mean that they
There you
haven't
go.
evolved. It just means that the season for right now it might need to be on pause or it may have ended and it's time for you to do something different. And I think
Exactly.
that's the one of the mistakes a lot of people make when they are trying to transform their mind and their life is we try to hold on to the comfortable.
Yeah, and when you start prioritizing your life in the manner in which your identity says you are. So if I say I'm a speaker, okay, what do speakers do? Speakers send out proposals to schools, conferences, things like that. Speakers speak. Speakers, practice with social media, whatever it may be. It's something that my coaching cousin again. He always says is when you set your life up to that standard, everything else. I mean, you won't have time for it anyway. So it's not even getting rid of people or cutting someone off. It's more of, bro, I'm just busy. Like this is the life that I have to live in order to become who I know I am and who I say I am. And because of that, I'm still going to fit you in. It's just going to be a different form of fitting in. It won't be always Friday nights, let's go get it in. It's going to be, hey, Friday night, this is the cutoff time for me because I still have other things I need to do. And I've already accomplished these things, et cetera, et cetera. So
So when people are transforming, do you suggest that they keep a journal?
something that options trading has taught me a lot is journal, 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 journal. Uh, I mean, yeah, the more you journal, the more you can look back. One of my biggest challenges is seeing the good that I've done because I'm so focused on what's next. And a good friend of mine, Jaretta, I'll shout you out, Jaretta. Uh, Good friend of mine, Jaretta, she's like, Chris, slow down, stop. What have you done today? This is what you did good. And I'm like, yeah, 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 because I got so adapted to football telling me don't check your press clippings, but that doesn't mean in life. And but I adjusted it to life, and so being able to actually journal and know where you went, what you could have done better, what you've actually done good, et cetera, it helps so much.
Yeah, and you know the other side of that too is because I don't write in my journal as much as I used to, but when I was writing it and I was writing in it every day, and I never forget, it would be some time would pass and I would go back and I would read something that I wrote on a particular day.
Mhm.
And it was mixed emotions. Like I would be like extremely sad, probably even shed a couple of tears, but then I would be super happy because I would be sad because of the person I was in that moment
Mhm.
and how you could feel the pain of what I wrote in that day because I would write per day like how I was feeling that day, and
Mhm.
I could feel the pain that maybe I was feeling in those moments, and it really made me sad, and I was empathetic to me,
Right.
because it was like, dang, dude, you was really, going for it. But then when I looked on the other side of it, I was extremely happy because I could see the growth from that place to where I am now. And
So
I think that's why journals are so good. They're so good because like you said, they're your press clippings.
mhm.
You go back and you see what was happening in that point, and then you can see the victory of how far you've come along the way. So I think journals are really, really good to keep.
Man, and it makes me think another big thing about journaling is when you make it, whatever making it means, when you make it to the next level, the people on the level underneath you will never give you the the credit that you don't give yourself. What I mean by that is they'll automatically think in their mind, "Oh, that's just John. Like of course he was able to do that. That's John." But when John can look back and say, "No, this was John. Let me show you exactly
Yeah,
what John was. John
yeah,
was crying 6 weeks ago because he was going through this, and now John is here because he's in a much better place. He figured this part out in life. It just helps them respect you more and also gives them less of an excuse, but more belief to know that they can do it as well.
yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you this here. So I know, and you and we talked about this before because, like one of the reasons I do the podcast and everything is because I want to leave a fingerprint on earth. My life is going to expire one day, but while I'm here, I want to leave a fingerprint that, hey, I was here. I tried my best to inspire people to be the best version of themselves. Like, what fingerprint do you desire to leave on earth?
I would like to leave my fingerprint through others. I don't, number one, through a book. I definitely plan on writing more books, but mainly just through people, whether it be my son, as well as the young men that I mentor, the people that I might meet in the store and they look down and I lift them up, like just leaving my imprint on everybody that I come around, so that I can never be the guy that is not in the room and somebody can say, "Oh man, he was such a butthole to me," or whatever it may be. We all have those moments, but understanding that when you're when you're really legacy minded, everything that you do is valuable and important. So when you step out of, it's like the old school days when they say, when you step out this house, you represent me. It's like you represent your family, that last name, but you more than anybody else. So can people actually come to your funeral and joke around and laugh and cry because you were that good of a person to them, not even to everybody else, just to them? That's what matters. And as long as you can do that to at least one person and just continue to do that as much as you can, it'll all work itself out.
Yeah, and I'm gonna ask the people who are watching the question then, because I want to say something on what you just said too. So those of you that are out there in the comments, I'm going to ask you, what fingerprint are you leaving on Earth? So drop a comment and let's talk about that. What fingerprint are you leaving on Earth? And so when you were talking about like when people come to your funeral, they be speaking good of you and everything. And I've learned because it's this TikTok like voice overdub, and everybody is not going to always speak well of you. They probably won't speak well of you, or they, because everybody may have had different experiences
For sure.
with you. So when someone could ask somebody like about me, and they may say something negative about me or whatever. But when people bring it back to me, I'd be like, well, did you ask them what did they do to make me be that way? You know what I'm saying? So it's like we give people sometimes the version of us that they require. And sometimes it's not always the kind, compassionate person, the positive vibe person. Sometimes you got to get hood with some folks. And, and that may be who they remember. But hey,
Bernie
they,
Mac. Now
they
wait.
kept poking. They poking the bear. They was poking the bear. So Roderick, the voice, he said love. That's the fingerprint that he wants to leave on Earth. I think that's amazing. Patricia says serving others. I love that. And okay, already creating things will last longer than I live. Okay. Already creating things. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Because I think that's the thing. It's like I always tell people I want to live forever. Like when my life has expired on Earth, I still want people to go on YouTube, my family, because I do a lot of this for my family. So when life expires, they can always come out on YouTube or anywhere, or they can hear my music, they can hear my voice, see my smile. It's like you want to leave that fingerprint along the way. Okay, so I've allowed people inside my head through films and books. Okay, that's what you was just talking about too. Okay, Coach Chris, we got a question for you. Coach Chris, what belief changed your life the most? Oh crap!
What
You about to
belief?
go deep, Chris.
What belief changed my life the most? Ooh, you know what belief actually changed my life the most? The belief that I was alone. I started understanding that I'm not alone. Like there were people in my corner. So you grow up in I'm from South Dallas, Pleasant Grove, and I don't want to get too hood, but PG, what up? And so growing up in that area, you get that mentality of I'm doing it on my own. And so I brought that everywhere I went. So even when I moved to East Texas, I still brought that with me. But it was people who continued to try to help me. And even and then going from East Texas to Houston, I still kept that mentality. And then it finally clicked for me. I'm like, wait, I have a sister who cares about me. I have a brother who cares about me. I have bros who are now family to me that care about me. And people who would actually instill better things in my life to let me know that I am loved. But it was so hard thinking that in the beginning. So I think that was the biggest belief for me that changed everything. It's like, man, I'm not alone.
Yeah, I love that, and because I love you. You have to do some self-examination, and you have to look
Yeah.
around to see that. And a lot of times, they become overcome by that feeling of being alone or loneliness.
Yep.
And it's people that are there that are willing to help, but you have to allow them to help. And I get it. That's hard to do because no
That's
one
hard.
wants to appear
Yep.
because it's really a strength to
It
ask
is.
somebody to help you, but most times it's looked at as a weakness. So
Yeah.
yeah, wow, wow. Okay, and someone said, I would love to leave the footprint that I lived a God-fearing life and that I loved everyone. Oh, that's Jackie Gordon. And I do know Jackie, and I can tell you this here, she is already, yeah, she's definitely leaving that footprint. She's one of the most incredible women I know. And her husband passed almost a year ago now. And when he passed, like she's reinventing herself and finding out who she is as a single woman because she was with this guy, this pastor for over 30 years. And
Wow.
that's all she knew. You know, that was her only
Wow.
husband, the only guy she dated. So she had to figure out who she was. And I tell you that watching her, it is such a beautiful experience with watching her become who she is at this phase of her life. And yeah, she got a little hood in her
Oh,
though, because she loved the Lord and she loved everybody, but she'll check you.
come on, Jackie, don't check everybody.
She got to get him back on the straight and narrow, boy. She got to get back on the straight and narrow. So yeah, okay. So what advice would you give someone who is like trying to find themselves today, but they are challenged with it because maybe they have the wrong circle of people around them, or they don't have the resources to hire someone like you to become an identity first coach? What advice would you give someone who want to get out of the rut that they're currently in?
Slow down. Go go somewhere where you can be alone and ask yourself, who am I? Don't overthink it. Journal it out. Ask yourself after that, who do I want to become? And if those two don't align, make sure that they do. And start working your way through how do I actually make sure who I am and who I want to become are in sync.
I love that. I love that. I love that. And I would even say too, because I love who I want to become. I mean, start probably even finding people who are where you want to be. And
Definitely.
that'll help you get on the path to get there because a lot of times we hanging around with who we are, not who we want to be. And
Hmm.
you have to make that transition to get where you want to be to. Oh, I think that's dope, man. I think that's dope. So, and one other question you said about silencing the noise earlier. How do you silence the noise of the inner voices that are telling you all of this stuff? You dumb, you stupid, you're not gonna make it, you crazy for even thinking you could do that. How do you silence those voices?
Ooh, action, 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 action. So you can only think one thing at once. So if you're thinking, I'm dumb, that means you're not thinking, I'm capable, I'm smart. So change that. But at the same time, as you're saying, I'm smart, go do something that you feel is smart so that you can prove it to yourself, I am smart. That action more matters more, way more. Like that's my initial thing. Identity is very key, but the thing I teach the most is that follow through. So this is who you want to become, but how can we actually follow through with what you're saying to prove to yourself that you are right, so that you cannot say, oh, I'm so wrong. No, you're right. So I would say action.
I love that. So, Chris, you mentioned earlier about your books. Where can people find your books?
So two of them actually are uh, publicist stuff that I get, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
like go
we
that
know.
direction.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Future books, I will definitely let them be known on my platforms.
Okay. So definitely go out, follow Chris on Facebook. You can find him at Christopher Anthony on Facebook. TikTok, you can find him at TikTok and Instagram. You can find him at Chris D. Anthony. So go out and follow this brother. When I tell you guys, he's posting some amazing stuff, and he is actually putting in the work, and he's living and being an example. And Chris, one thing that I do love about you, man, is your transparency. And a lot of coaches wouldn't share that. Hey, sometimes I still take shortcuts. And I love that because it allows people to see that, hey, it's a constant journey, and we're all on this same journey. So I love that, man. I respect that a whole lot about you, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what final words you got for people tonight?
I was gonna be super goofy.
Well, go for it. Go for it.
ClarityCreatesCurrency.com. Go check it out. No, I'm not gonna say the rest I was gonna say.
Say it. We want to hear it. What? Yeah.
Hey, one thing you gotta get out of me is I'm goofy. I like to have fun. In our sessions, you will laugh. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you are going to laugh. You're gonna hear every type of movie, song. Doesn't matter what it is. So if you don't like to have fun, I'm not the coach for you. I'm just letting you know now. But you all have a great night. Thank you for tuning in. For the people who are watching, shout out all the people.
All the people in Pleasant Grove. So you said Clarity Create Currency. That's your website?
ClarityCreatesCurrency.com.
Okay. I love that. And there it is on the screen, guys. So we put it up there for you guys to see that. That's right. Christopher, right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. So there you go. Put it there. You can go find Chris, get some more information from him on how he can help you become the best version of yourself. And guys, I tell you this here, it's easy to find all the things that are missing in our lives, but I guarantee you, when you start focusing on the good that is going on in your life, and you start using that as the foundation to build more, you'll see a tremendous change in your life. You'll see a tremendous change in everything that you're doing. And, just live a life of recognizing how blessed you are, and you will start attracting more. You'll start getting more. All of the stuff will start coming to you once you change your mindset. And Chris, thanks for reminding us of that tonight, man.
Thank you. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Yes, sir. So guys, ladies, gents, we will see you guys next Monday, 7 p.m., same exact time. The podcast is going to go all the way through the last Monday of August, but we'll be back next Monday, 7 p.m., with Thomas Jackson as the guest for next week. Another great conversation that I'm really excited about. So make sure you guys are back. And if you guys, some of you are out there listening to this tonight, if you want to be on a podcast, you got a grind, you got a passion, and you want to impact the world in such a great way, drop me a DM on Instagram or TikTok, and let's talk. Let's get you on here. All right, then, everybody, we will see you next Monday. Peace.
Yeah. Real life stories and transparent conversations, hustle and grind, love and relationships, with all the tools for living your best life. It's the Dope Ass Do Podcast. The Dope Ass Do Podcast.